Good morning. This is a quick 5, 6, 7 minute video to talk about a little bit of Git internals and a very special use case. A Git is a source code control system, what they call it as content addressable system. What that means is Git is basically a key value store and you can dump in whatever values you want in that store. And it is so good at source controlling your source code and version controlling it and providing lots of other helpful features. So we'll take like 3-minute walk through some of the internals. Obviously, being a very nice system, there is a whole lot to know about it. And we can even in a separate video talk about some of the daily commands. In fact, if you really talk to a Git experts, they say there are kind of two kinds of commands: plumbing commands, porcelain commands. Plumbing are the ones that really are talking about the internals of Gits and how to modify, update, play with the repository, and some other porcelain commands like just like on a daily basis you check in, check out, look at the history, log, etc., etc. So to play with Git, obviously this recording is being made on the Mac. Mac does come with Git already pre-installed in it. Windows probably don't have them, but easy enough to get it installed. Anyways, so let's make a nice clean directory called demo1 to be precise. Let me get into demo1, and all you need to do is git init. And all it does is it initializes a repository which is empty at this point, right? And what it has done internally, if you really want to see, is this tree command is going to show you all the tree structure inside of it. It creates bunch of files. For example, like head is an important file. We won't go through all of them, but this is what is telling you what branch you are currently working on, etc. Hooks has a lot of files that can be changed to automate a lot of your daily work, and obviously the sample.sample gets removed. But what I'm interested in is the most important directory called objects. This is the directory that's going to store primarily 3 types of objects, and we'll get to it in a minute. Right now it will have nothing really other than these 2 placeholder directories. So let me just take you inside of this and show you it really has nothing, right? So let's climb back into our primary directory, and not only that, we want to talk about the Git internals, but also show a very nice use case. Generally almost everybody uses Git to version control their source code, but in this case we're going to use it to version control Excels, right? In all of our organizations we use Excels and Word files and so many things so many times. So like us, we start with a spreadsheet with a few columns and a few other rows. We share that Excel with one of our colleagues, then he adds some more columns and rows, and that's version number 2, and then on, right? Soon enough, before end of the day, you'll have like 24 versions of Excel, and you would not know what John gave and what Ramesh gave, what was his feedback and what version was that. And the usual solution to that is we keep adding like a .var1, var2, var3, etc. to the file names, and still it becomes a mess. To kind of solve that problem, what we can do is simulate it with Git. So let me just get a nice little Excel that I have already prepared into this directory. What that Excel does is nothing. It's just a placeholder. Excel which is just going to have 5, 10, like 8, 10 columns and about 40, 50 rows, which really is a dummy data as it opens, as you can see. So this is my version 1, right? So I'm going to close this Excel, get back into this. Now that the Excel is there, if I look at the Git status, is going to tell me that there is a untracked file, which it means it has detected that there is a new file in this directory which has not yet been added into the Git repository. So all I have to do is git add test1xlx, and then I'm going to say git commit. This obviously is going to put this file into my Git repository for sure, and I'm going to give it a comment like version 0. Okay, it got committed, and at this point it has been put it into the directory. So let's just quickly see what has happened, and I will show a couple other things. It has inside this object created 3 more directories, which is corresponding to the 3 files that I was 3 types of things that I was mentioning earlier. The 3 types of objects that it creates is, one is for the files that you are accessing in, those are the objects, which by the way is a block. And another thing I'll quickly mention is the long names. Long names are really the SHA-1 keys, the 40 character keys that are created using that cryptographic SHA-1. That's the cryptographic algorithm it is using. And another peculiar thing you will notice is the 2 character directory names. Those are the first 2 characters of the 40 characters of the file name. And okay, so back into the 3 types of objects that it is storing. One is the objects, that's the files, meaning all versions of the files are stored. Second is the tree. See, as you can see, all your source code can be in a tree structure, like directories and subdirectories and subdirectories and all that. So it takes the snapshot of all those directories and stores that. And the third one is the commit. So there is a directory to store all the commit information, like who committed, when it was committed, what files were committed, what was the timestamps. So if I now, for example, see git history or git log, is going to show me a commit was made. Who had made? I had made it, and here is the full commit name, right? And if you notice again 8f, and there is a directory called 8f, because that's the directory that is corresponding to the commits, and it has a file inside it. So those are the 3 types of files that are there. Now let's just say I'm going to change this Excel, right? And I'm just simply going to add same thing here, save it and close it. And I'm going to say now git status. That will simply tell me that one of the file has been modified and has not yet been committed, right? So let's just do this, git add, and let's just say that this has been the feedback from John, -m feedback from John. That the file is stored and committed, we can quickly see the git history, and that's going to show us the commits that we have been doing, and the history is the log. And as we saw when we committed the version number 0, that was our first commit, which we were looking at earlier, with this full 40 character commit ID, that's the SHA-1 key as I mentioned, and this is the second commit that was done. Obviously it is showing in the chronological reverse order, and this is the second version that we are calling it as a feedback from John. So those are the 2 commits that have been so far done. So such commits will keep happening during the day, and the file will keep getting modified over the period of time. So just to take a quick look at the file and make it very explicit, we shall open the file, look at these things, make some further more changes, and put it here just for the sake of it. Let me make it this way, save it. Git status will show me that the file has been changed. I'm going to do git add test, and I'm going to git commit, and I'm going to tell him now this is a version 3. Now if I say git log, I'm going to see bunch of this, right? And now if you again we are curious about what has been happening in the git repository, we could quickly look at, see, the object directory has been growing. It has been keeping the snapshots of the files, the tree, and the commits, right? So having seen all this, now that we are at the end of the day and we need a older version of the file, so all we do is git log. Oh, okay, let's say I want to go all the way back to the first version. What would I do? Git check out. I'm going to say this is the commit I want, and the file that I want is, and sure enough the file was just extracted out, and let's open that file. look, that column 8 and the red letters are everything are missing. So what it means is Git not only keeps all the versions very safe, it's very easy to get back to those. Obviously there is a whole lot more to be learned in Git, but this was a quick introduction to the internals of Git in terms of how it is storing those objects and how we can use Git not only for source controlling your source code, but also for things such as Excels and Word documents, or for that matter any other file. Thanks, talk to you again.